Hi, welcome to Movie Review Mom. I'm the mom and I do the movie reviews. And today, the movie I'm talking about is Jungle Cruise. This lighthearted action adventure is now playing in theaters and on Disney Plus. And if you watch it on Disney Plus, you get to see a special fun pre-show. Yay. So the movie is rated PG-13. It's 2 hours and 8 minutes, kind of a long movie. And I will give you my movie review mom score toward the end of my review. So first, in a nutshell, in honor of Disneyland's popular Jungle Cruise ride at the theme parks, this fun movie has all of the magic and wonder you would hope from a Disney movie, I thought. The movie has the ambiance and the humor of the ride and more. To better coordinate with the new movie, Disneyland California and Disney World in Florida have updated their rides 2 weeks prior to the movie's premiere. If you love the ride and want to gain an even greater appreciation for it, check out the Behind the Attraction series. It's a fantastic series on Disney Plus that shares some really great behind the scenes look at some of the most popular rides in the Disney theme parks. It's a family-friendly movie for all ages, and the film is directed by Collet-Serra. I hope I pronounced his name correctly. So here is a long list of some of the things that I really liked about the movie. First of all, the opening sequence is absolutely gorgeous to look at. You immediately feel engaged and get excited for the adventure to begin. Emily Blunt is beautiful and so talented. She and Dwayne Johnson actually have really great chemistry together, and they fill the movie with fun energy. She also has great physicality to be believable in this role. And if you want to see her look really fierce and strong, watch her in the movie Live, Die, Repeat, which is also called Edge of Tomorrow. They gave 2 names to that movie, which confused everybody. But if you haven't seen that movie, definitely check that one out. It's with Tom Cruise and really, really fun and crazy. It's also one of those time loop movies, which I love. Anyway, I also get a huge kick out of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. He is great in this movie, as expected. And one of the characters looks at him and says, "Gosh, there's a lot of you, isn't there?" And then Emily Blunt's character says to him, "You are deeply unpleasant," because he's just super quirky. His character loves puns, which I actually think are punny. I actually think that they're really funny. Many of the puns actually come straight from the Jungle Cruise ride at Disneyland that's spoken by the skippers, the tour guides on that ride. His character says, "I can't turn it off," which I thought was funny. Dwayne Johnson is also the producer of this film, and he tried really hard to get Emily Blunt to star with him in the role of Lily Houghton. She is perfect and an even match for his very strong presence and personality. And not every actress could pull that off. She does beautifully. Paul Giamatti is also in the movie and is awesome in every movie that he's in too. Just all around great casting. I love that many of the little details come from the lines that are actually used in the Jungle Cruise ride itself, like I just mentioned, but some come from other rides and other Disneyland attractions. For example, Nilo's bird is called Rosita, which comes from a line spoken in the Enchanted Tiki Room when one of the birds asks, "Whatever happened to Rosita?" When I was a little girl, I just thought that attraction was so cool. I don't know why, because not that much happens, but I thought it was really fun. Older audiences will recognize the look and feel of The African Queen, which is a movie that actually inspired Walt Disney to add the Jungle Cruise to his park attractions in the first place. Fun fact. The film also has a feeling of Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark, and I loved that whole franchise as well. There's a lot of visual and spoken humor and really great set pieces and production design. It has the Disney magic that you really want it to have and the adventurous spirit that Disney has too. The musical score by James Newton Howard is classic Disney. And I actually heard another film critic say it wasn't up to par, but I completely disagree. Several times I was like, wow, this music is really capturing the moment. And then at the very end, during the end credits, I thought it was just lovely. And it felt like I was in Disneyland. I really enjoyed it. There's almost nonstop action with slapstick stunts and gags. And keep watching during those end credits to see some beautiful, stylish artwork. Unfortunately, there are no end credit scenes, but you can enjoy the artwork and the lovely music. So there are just a few things that I didn't like or thought could have been done better. First of all, some of the CGI animals look really fake, which was so disappointing because Disney's been doing this for several years now, and they just don't have it quite right, which surprised me. There's a super long scene full of exposition to explain a complicated backstory. And there's this supernatural element that might confuse kids despite its very long explanation. And even some adults may be going, wait, what? Act 3 gets noticeably darker, both visually and thematically. The villain disappears for a large part of the movie. However, that didn't bother me that much because I kind of felt like the dangerous South American jungle and Amazon River were also kind of like villains as our protagonists are trying to survive minute by minute. So let me give you some tips for parents because kids are definitely going to be interested in this movie and adults too. First of all, there's no profanity except the hockey sticks that's mentioned once. But other than that, it's clean. You can tell a few characters are going to start to swear, but they don't. And I definitely appreciate that. There's lots of destruction, some bloodless deaths, and actually quite a few bloodless deaths. I mean, it's not gory, but it's surprisingly brutal. And there's violence that's surprisingly brutal. There's German, Portuguese, and Spanish, which are spoken most of the time without or all of the time without subtitles. And normally it's not a big deal, except for there were a few times where I think it actually would have helped the audience to know what was being said, especially some lines that are spoken by the actor Edgar Ramirez. I speak Spanish and he was talking and I'm like, oh, okay. And then I was like, wait a minute, nobody's going to know unless you speak Spanish, the thing that he just said. And I thought, why didn't they include subtitles? Anyway, and there's also a funny joke about a thick German accent. So one of the characters admits he's gay. He doesn't actually say gay, but he talks about how his love is elsewhere, and adults will definitely pick up on it because he talks about how he would be banned from society. And of course, back then in England, he could have been put to death or sent to jail. And all of those things. It was illegal to be gay. However, I was just like, come on, Disney. Really? Do you have to insert that little political nugget in a children's movie? It just didn't need to be in the story. And it felt like Disney was pushing an agenda. And I'm seeing that more and more in Disney movies. And I was just like, come on, Anyway, there are also lots of snakes and other creepy crawlies. The villain is a Nazi, or he's German. I guess this is pre-Nazi era, but young kids may not actually know what that is. And Jesse Plemons gives an over-the-top, super entertaining performance in his role as German Prince Joachim. So check that out. There are some scary images that I think might actually frighten some young children. And so heads up on that. And then ultimately, my 4 sons would have loved this movie if they had been young when this first came out. So some themes that are definitely worth talking about with your family if you watch the movie together are environmentalism, taking care of the environment and the creatures there, female empowerment, of course, because every movie has that as a theme these days, magic, trust, dishonesty, hope, healing, love, sacrifice for others, and medicine and herbal cures. Now, I've been trying very carefully not to give you any spoilers, so there's just sort of some basic information. So whenever I watch movies, I'm busy writing down funny lines and interesting lines, basically so I can just share them with you so you can get a real flavor for the movie. And you can see all of them on my written review at moviereviewmom.com. So you can check those out there, but I'll share a few of them with you right now. So I thought that this line was super funny. So McGregor Houghton is the brother. He's played by Jack Whitehall. And so he's very sophisticated and wealthy and from England. And so his sister, played by Emily Blunt, is the adventurous one. And, she's trying to talk him into going to South America with her. And he's like, if I wanted to go to a primitive backwater where I couldn't understand a thing people were saying, I'd visit our relatives in Scotland. It actually made me laugh out loud. And then Emily Blunt and Dwayne Johnson have this really fun banter back and forth. And she's just rolling her eyes and she says, is there a single thing about you I can trust? And Dwayne Johnson's character says, not a thing. I mean, they both are who they are. And I just think it's really funny because they have good, strong personalities and neither one of them are pushovers. And so it's really fun to see their relationship and how it evolves. And then an interesting line that I have to share with you is one spoken by Emily Blunt. She has one of those old-fashioned cameras, to make a picture, and she calls them moving pictures to make a movie of their adventures. And Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, his character has never seen one. He doesn't know what it is. And she says, they're so much fun and you can experience being anywhere in the world. And I was like, yes, that's exactly why I love movies. Well, one of the many reasons why I love movies so much. All right, that's it for my review today. Oh, wait, no, I got to give you my movie review score. Are you wondering what it is? It might be pretty obvious, but I loved it. I can't wait to watch it again. I'm giving it an A. Yay, Disney, with some parental warnings. Now, let me give you a couple of recommendations for some other movies that are based on Disney attractions in the theme parks. They're older. You may have seen them before, but if you haven't, you absolutely should. So the first one is actually a franchise. It's the Pirates of the Caribbean. And I've loved all of them, but the first one was by far the best because it was new and fresh and we hadn't really seen anything like that before. And that's always been one of my favorite attractions at Disneyland ever since I was a little girl. And then another one is the Haunted Mansion. So this one was done a few years ago. It's not as good as the franchise of Pirates of the Caribbean, but if you love that attraction, you definitely should see that movie. That attraction always scared me just a little bit. But anyway, the movie is fun and scary at the same time. All right, that's it. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. I think you're really going to enjoy this movie. At least I hope so. Be sure and give my video a thumbs up because that helps my channel to grow and YouTube will spread YouTube magic fairy dust all over my channel. And thanks for visiting me over on Patreon. I really appreciate it. All right, have a fantastic day and I will catch you in the next one. Bye for now.